Alexander Isak may not want to play for Newcastle United, but Malik Thiaw certainly does. And there's rumours of more. Let's talk about it right here on Toon Tactics TV, folks.
Brilliant from Sham. And now Murphy can take on the shot. Fabian Schär
Good evening, good evening, good evening, folks. How are you all doing? I hope you guys have had a great start to the week so far. And as always, you could have been anywhere in the world, but you are right here with me on Toon Tactics TV, talking all things Newcastle, talking all things Toon. And I'm already blessed to have people engaging in the chat, blessed already to have already a live audience to be with you guys tonight. And I'm so looking forward to tonight's show with you guys and talking about not only obviously the whole more and more stuff on Alexander Isak, but the players that do want to be here. Malik Thiaw obviously has come through the door. We're going to play a little bit of his intro video as well, which I enjoyed. We're going to be doing a little bit of a scouting report on him. Also, we're going to do a bit of a scouting report on Jacob Ramsey as well, who apparently Newcastle are in talks of Aston Villa to get that deal over the line. We're going to kind of review it because I've done a scouting report on him before, but we want to kind of review it as well, see what it is why Newcastle want him in the first place, as well as talk about some more transfer rumours and everything else that is tied into it. But we've already got folks in the chat, already got folks in the channel. Let's see what you guys are saying. Let's see what you guys are up to. I haven't got to adjust my settings yet. I will do soon in terms of just adjusting my settings for subscribers only to be able to comment in the chat, folks. So please do subscribe, like, and subscribe, which reminds me, like and subscribe, because as always, the context of the show, everything about the show is down to you guys, is down to your incredible engagement. So please do like, share, and subscribe. And by the way, I've been really blessed to have people volunteer to become mods. A few of you guys in the chat as well have volunteered to do that, but I don't think you guys are on X. A lot of the volunteers aren't on X. So just a reminder for the folks that do want to become mods, do let me in the chat. I want to think, I think Sophie B volunteered, but I don't want to just say her name without, I did say it just now, but I think Sophie B may have volunteered. But if she comes in, if she's in the chat, do let me know, Sophie, if you still would like to be a mod, and I'll make sure I get you on the mod as well. And for anybody else that may be interested, I am looking for folks. Obviously, I've been on the channel for a little while just because you guys know the flow of the show a little bit more. And so, but let me make sure I first say good evening to a lot of the folks that are already on here already. BT, good to see you and God bless you. Good evening, Philip, and all in the chat. Good to see you, BT, as always. Really, really good to see you. Nat, always good to see you. God bless you. Good evening, everyone. Good evening to you. Good evening, Phil. Hope you're well. Living life to the full, Nat. Living life to the full. BT says the reason why the Whistle deal is taking time is Brentford are waiting to bring in Dango Ouattara. That's true. And Bournemouth are bringing in Amin Adil. Yeah, so it's a bit of a domino effect there, isn't it? Waiting for that deal to come through as well. So there's a lot there going on. Good to see Adrian in the chat as well. God bless you, Adrian. Aaron Cave, my man, how you doing, sir? God bless you. I hope you are well. Came from Milano to play with Sandro. Oh, Malik Thiaw, Malik Thiaw, Malik Thiaw, Malik Thiaw. I love that. Let me go. Come from Milano to play with Sandro. Oh, Malik Thiaw, Malik Thiaw, Malik Thiaw. I love that. I love that. I love that. And I'm going to play the intro video. So that's a great segue, by the way. BT, I didn't put that one there. BT says it has been said that Malik Thiaw will wear the number 12 shirt. Very, very good. I'm excited about Malik Thiaw. Davey says, good evening, Philip. Good evening to you, Davey, and God bless you. Really great to see you again. Have you got a new what do you call it, pick as well? Great to have that. Great to have that. You know, keeping yourself fresh. BT agent. Okay, guys, saying good. Always good to see folks welcoming each other. I love that. David Veitch says, evening, Philip. Good evening to you and God bless you, David. Good to see we have a solid defense. We do. And our first team defense has now been completed. I am excited about that. David says, I can mod if you want. Oh, brilliant. Thank you, Davey. I will make sure I keep you there and remember, in fact, make sure I keep myself. I make sure I list that. Come on, phone, hurry up. Make sure I don't forget, because I want to keep on saying who else doesn't want to do it. Here we go. Thank you for that, David. I really appreciate it. That means a lot, especially coming from yourself to volunteer to do that. David Veitch says, Jacob Ramsey is a very underrated player and Howe knows how good he is. I agree with that. I do agree with that. We're going to be talking about him a little bit more today. My man Mitch, where the Owl Sleep. God bless you, Mitch. Guys, if you haven't seen our show yesterday on Where the Owl Sleep, please do have a look. And even if obviously you're watching our show now, but just hit a subscribe button on Where the Owl Sleep, hit a like button, hit a notification button on Where the Owl Sleep. An incredible channel, and Mitch is an incredible football content creator as well. So please do show your support, as you always do for all of us, really. A little bit late, but big up Philip, sir, and the chat. Big up to you, Mitch, as well. Aaron says, Jacob Ramsey just isn't the player we should be going for. Okay, a younger Joe Willock and Villa have complained about his injury record. It doesn't bode well, especially with our high pressing system. Okay, we'll keep that in mind, actually, in terms of everything that's been said, Aaron. Where the Owl Sleep, make sure we all hit the like buttons. Yes, please. Share the video and subscribe to the channel. You guys have been absolutely phenomenal with that as well. We're going to start and we'll get on to Davey says, that's me and King Kev in Verkip. He was my neighbor. Oh, wow. Seriously? That's incredible. Big up to you, Davey. You've lived a life, mate. Matt Lou from South Africa. God bless you, Matt Lou. Great to see you on the channel. Evening, Philip, and people within the beautiful community. It is a beautiful community. Great to see you, Matt Lou. And Aaron ends it with, I would prefer El Khanousi. His release clause and age makes it a no-brainer. Well, his release clause does run out tomorrow. So let's see. You never know. We might get both. Maybe I am asking for too much, but let's find out. But I want to, before I get into the scouting report for Malik Thiaw, and I have a really good scouting report from Kev Lawson. Anybody who knows Kev Lawson, I've even subscribed to his Substack. I think is phenomenal in my point of view in his scouting reports. I'm really looking to read it out with you guys. But before we get onto it, I want to share the intro video that I just saw before for Malik Thiaw on the Newcastle channel. Just to play it quickly, it's a 30-second one. I want to be able to give him his intro on our show, so I'm really looking forward to it. I hope Newcastle don't strike me for this. Goodness gracious, Newcastle! I'm a channel, I'm a supporter. We've got Newcastle fans here, so please don't do me in. Okay, so let's see. Let's play this. But they're improving. I know that there's a lot of banter sometimes online about our media team, and sometimes they deserve banter because they don't always put. If you watch the other channel football clubs, especially Arsenal, for instance, like they do put us to shame a little bit about how good they do their shows. So I love this. I do like this, guys. Let's play it.
I came to Milan as a young boy, and I think now I live as a man. Newcastle, it speaks for itself. To finally have made this move with the fans, with the stadium, I can't wait. So I came here with some ambitions, and I know the Newcastle is an ambitious club as well. When I hit Newcastle, I said, yeah, I really want to do it.
I love that. Great. He wants to do it. He's ambitious.
Because they knew that's what I wanted. New journey, new challenge. I'm ready. I'm Malik Thiaw. I'm Newcastle United.
I love that. By the way, so I know his name's spelled as if it's a Thao, but it's Chow. the man who said it himself is Malik Thiaw. And I love this ending part. I'm Malik Thiaw.
I'm Malik Thiaw. I'm Newcastle United.
I'm Newcastle United. That's right. That
Okay.
is right. So lovely intro video there. This is welcoming Malik Thiaw to Newcastle United. So I'm super. It's it's a simple video, but anybody who knows who supported Newcastle for longer than 3.5 years, we know that this is we're improving, we're going places. So let's talk about Malik Thiaw, and I'm gonna why I think there's quite a few things to be excited about. Now, I wasn't sure, so just have to hang with me a little bit because I've got two versions. It's the same scouting report, but I've got one version in black and I've got one version in white, and I'm not sure the version here with the black background. There's videos on it that I can play on the screen, but I just wasn't sure if the background would be clear. But it is clear. It looks like it's there. And I want to give praise to Mr. Kev Lawson. And some of you guys will know him from X on X as Edit Kev. He first came in as Edit Kev. I think he still is now as Kev Lawson. He's previously worked for, I forgot, is it Stats Bomb? I don't know if he's still part of it or not. But he's NUFC. He does NUFC data and analysis. He does really good analysis on player profile. I've used his material countless times in the show as well, because I just think he's phenomenal in terms of how he breaks down players. Breaks down even just in terms of Newcastle United, before and after games. So I'm really looking forward. I want to really discuss Malik Thiaw with you guys as well, and get you guys' take on it and why I'm excited about him as well and what it could mean for Newcastle United. So just before I get into it, I've got a few folks in the chat. Davey says, yes, in Verkip Marina, that was in the chat room, our local pub. Okay, sorry. You guys talking amongst yourselves there. I thought Aaron Kane says, don't remind me of that Ramsdale announcement video. I should have played his actually. BT says, I'm glad to be viewing Toon Tactics TV. Oh, thank you, sir. God bless you for that. Unlike other podcasts who just swear and rant awful. I appreciate you, BT. That does mean a lot coming from you. Davey says, loving this guy. Yeah, Malik Thiaw's incredible. Baron says, Malik Thiaw can play left exactly all right. CB gives us real versatility and has the ball playing abilities of Shaw with more physicality. He had a poor season by his standards, but the potential is there. I absolutely agree with that. Okay, so just before that, I see Matt Lou says, whoever sanctioned Thiaw heard what was in my heart at the beginning of the window. Hope they hear my heart again with Duran. He just joined Venabachi, but fair play to you. If you don't ask, you don't get, Matt Lou. If you don't ask, you don't get. Okay, let me just get a drink of water and we'll go through this. We'll go through this scouting report for Mr. Malik Thiaw, brought to you by Kev Lawson. So pace, passing, and perfect profiling reads what Malik Thiaw will bring to Newcastle United's defence. And it was written today, actually, 12th of August. So real up-to-date, hot off the press stuff, presented always immaculately very well for Mr. Kev Lawson. You wouldn't have it any other way. So it reads, after 3 years of chasing the young German centre-back, and it has been 3 years, Newcastle United have finally signed Malik Thiaw, pronounced Malik Thiaw, for a reported fee of 35 million, including add-ons. Now, why has Eddie Howe and the club's interest never really waned? Let's break down what the 24-year-old will bring to SJP. And he's, and it's true, 3 year chase. We've been after him. Everybody, obviously, who follows Newcastle United will know this as well. Kev does give us some advice first in regards to like data and everything he says. He says, generally speaking, so he says, little advice about data and centre-backs. Generally speaking, football data counts events that happen on and around the ball, which makes an imperfect tool for analysing qualities like positioning decision-making, and anticipation. So while any decent analysis of any position involves putting the stats into the context of what you see on the player's film, centre-back especially need an increased share of traditional eye test scouting than most other positions in the pitch. Got that? Okay, good. So, you need a whole load of eye tests, which I'm sure Steve Nixon, Andy Howe, and the recruitment team have been doing. So player overview. So let's dig into what the German international central defender, free cap to German international, will offer for the first team squad. Across his last 3 league seasons for Milan, so this is a very in-depth analysis, 3 seasons, Thiaw has split his time pretty well evenly between RCB, right centre-back, and LCB, left centre-back, so you can cover both positions. So even though he will be the natural partner to Botman, if you can imagine, Haaland as left-back, Hall as left-back, Livramento as right-back, Malik Thiaw as right centre-back, and Botman as left centre-back. Thiaw can play left centre-back as well. And you can see on here in terms of 90 minutes played, LCB, he's already played, in over 3 seasons, he played 23, nearly 24 times as left centre-back, and 27, nearly 28 times at right centre-back, and 6 minutes all in all as central centre-back, CB. So you can play either. So he's quite ambidextrous. Actually, you also see that in his he's able to pass to the left foot or the right foot. So the majority of these LCB minutes occurred last season. So the season just gone, when Thiaw returned to the Milan team after an ankle injury and a bicep injury disrupted his start to the season. Here's how he performed versus Shah. So you can see Shah here in blue, and you can see Malik Thiaw here in the red. You can see, and it's going to break it down a little bit, but instantly you can just see from that tackling and dribbles past, Malik Thiaw dominates Shah a little bit there as well. And already my own screen is off, which is annoying, but fine. We'll continue going. And see where we get to. I will get back to it. So let's see let me see. That's so annoying. It's going to bug me if I don't try. All right. So let's see what he says. Come on, let me see if I get my camera working while I'm on here. That is so annoying. No? All right. Can you guys hear me? Just let me know in the chat if you can hear me, because you just said to me my sound was off, which is annoying. So let me know in the chat if you guys can hear me. Just let me know in the chat. Anybody, just let me know in the chat if you guys can hear me. And we will, loud and clear, Nathan says. Thank you for that, Nathan. Let me see if I can get myself back on. All right, brilliant. We're back. Thank you for that, Nathan, and thank you, Davey. All right, so you can see already just from the chart where Malik Thiaw seems to dominate. But let's see what Kev says of the charts itself. When we dig back a bit further into the 2 seasons preceding this, where Thiaw played chiefly as right centre back, we'll get more rounded view of his qualities versus Shah in the 24-25 season. So straight away you can see here, what does he say? So he's stronger in the air. So Malik Thiaw stronger in the air compared to Shah. He's better on the deck defender, so ground duels, and ever so slightly worse in terms of passing ability. Now he does break this down, what he means by this. So I'll try to highlight these differences in this analysis, and he talks about it here, and you can see it in terms of it kind of being broken down. Remember, Malik Thiaw's in the red and Fabian Shah is in the blue. So you can see aerial wins percentage, aerial wins 1, tackling, dribbles and pass, and clearances. So before we delve into these numbers, there's another note I'd like to make. In his last 3 seasons, Thiaw has played 6,918 minutes in all competitions for AC Milan and Schalke, while Shah has played a superhuman 12,489 minutes for Newcastle United. So Shah's played almost twice as many minutes as Shah has in the last 3 seasons. Absolutely phenomenal, absolutely incredible for Shah, 34-year-old Shah. So yes, even though Malik Thiaw expects to be the upgrade, but I know none of us do this because we all kind of praise Shah really well. But I just want to make note and send my flowers to Shah for his just being available and being incredible for Newcastle United. Okay, so that's a real testament to Kev Lawson goes on to say that's a real testament to Shah and the medical team. Big up James Bunce at NUFC. Only 11 players in the EPL, Bruno being one, have played more, but this disparity is a worry. The best ability is availability, and I agree. And Newcastle will hope to have a little bit more luck here, especially in this season. However, keep him fit, and Thiaw will bring a lot to the table. So what is he going to bring to the table according to Kev Lawson? High top speed, good on-script defender. Now, if anybody knows what that means in terms of on-script defender, I was meant to research that. I'm going to assume that means like reading of the game. But if anybody in the chat what it means to say good on-script defender, if you know a little bit better, do let me know. I read that as meaning reading the game. He has although, and then it follows on to say mediocre balance and post mistake recovery, and it does break that down. So he's great in the air, he's strong passing, especially through the lines, and he's a perfect partner for Botman. He kind of has it in the question mark. So let's go through these one by one. So high top speed, and you can see it here. He says high top speed. So Thiaw's top speed is right up there for a centre back. But his acceleration isn't quite the same standard. So he breaks it down here. This is actually a film chasing down Alexander Isak. So the foot race of Alexander Isak shows both teams losing ground in acceleration. So Isak has the better acceleration, but able to keep pace with the Swede once at top speed. And you can see it here. So he just breaks it down right at the beginning. The ball was about to get loose. So you can see at the beginning, Isak had the acceleration going there, but then once Thiaw was able to reach top speed, he was able to clear it. So you can see in the situation, this is what Newcastle are looking for: that ability, that recovery pace that comes at the top speed. So good on script defender. So it's this top end pace that underpins his defending. Speaking about Thiaw, he's able to mop up straight balls and has good positional sense, especially when the game is structured or to script. I need to know what this means. It's like a new technical term. He's aggressive in the tackle and well suited to the man-to-man press that Newcastle United use. So this is another example of this is an example here of him being strong in the going on here. We can't have the sound. I don't think we can have the sound, but I don't know. What does it mean? Can you have the sound? So it's going to give us an example of some of Malik Thiaw's, and make sure you guys can see that. Yeah, you can. A bit of an example of Malik Thiaw's aggressive tackling here. You can see him in the white. He's about to come across this player here. Right in there. Gets in there, tackles, and the ball is away. So that's the kind of example that he's talking about in terms of aggressive defending. The opposition are in the blue. That's it. Malik Thiaw there. Look how high he's pressing up in the opposition half. This is the type of stuff. He's very proactive again. That's him intercepting. You can see it there. So sometimes you see Milan in the white or in the red. This time Milan are in the red. You're about to see an aggressive tackle there. Headering out, aerial dominance there. That's an example of his high aggression, high defending there. That's Bologna in the blue and red. Malik Thiaw intercepts. This is the kind of stuff they're talking about in terms of aggressive defending and proactive defending there as well. Okay, so he goes on to say balance and post-mistake recovery. So, however, there is a trade-off. Thiaw's speed encourages him to win balls early, but if he misses, then his balance, especially through contact, sees him struggle to recover his bearings quickly. It's not awful. You can see him dealing with Lukaku in one of the clips, but he has a rash decision in him when he's recovering from a mistake. So it's something to look out for. And in this clip, you get an example of what that means. And I think some of these flaws will be amplified in the Premier League because of the intensity and the quickness of the game. So let's just see what he means in terms of being off balance. And you're going to see it here. And I love this. So, oh, that was at the end. So hold on, let me just pause this a minute and enlarge it. Here we go. So Milan are here in the red and black against Torino in the white. So you can see, yep. So he's early into the challenge like you want him to be, but he gets caught. He's off balance. He's totally taken off pace. Big old gap in the middle of the Milan's defense, and Torino are on their way. So do be prepared for this kind of stuff, right? At the same time, you want him to be proactive. You want him to be intense. You want him to be assertive, but just know that he does have a bad. It can lead to kind of mistakes like this. Again, you can see here. This is Lukaku. This is him against Lukaku. Lukaku is in the blue. At Charles here in the red, just behind him. He's looking at the ball. Lukaku gets the ball, able to chest it down. He tries to get Lukaku there. He's lucky not to get punished for it. Again, you can see him in the grey here. He's closing down. You want him on the flanks like that. He's typically quite good, but he can get turned. He was lucky again to be covered there. But yeah, that's him dawdling on the ball a bit there. He's lucky not to give a penalty away there. He has that rash decision in him, as they've talked about that, and that's something Eddie Howe's gonna get out of him. Okay, this is him on the flanks. This is the type of thing that Eddie Howe's gonna want from him. But at the same time, he's a bit square on. He's going to get caught there. The Atlanta player is going to get past him fairly easily into that gap as well. And that cared for that when in games as well. And that's something that Eddie Howe's going to have to teach out of him. And the other thing is that he's strong in the air, and he is. One area where Chow is clear upgrade on Shaw is in the air. The lanky defender uses his height to get first contact on the ball well. Using our hops model, Chow has 72% chance of winning headers versus the average professional only behind Burner, Sells, and Botman. So that's good. So, however, as the data suggests, he's not truly dominant here and hasn't scored a goal in 60 plus appearances for AC Milan. It will be interesting to see him set up in a setup where he's targeted with a running rather than standing jump. Okay. But he's more Matip than Virgil van Dijk, in my honest opinion. That is Kev Lawson. So the other thing he's good at, his strong ball progression, especially through the lines. And this is a big reason why Eddie Howe has brought him in. So as mentioned, Charles' pace and aerial ability come without. So let me start again. As mentioned, Charles' pace and aerial ability come without a significant trade-off in the passing stakes. While there is no doubt that Shah is more aggressive passer, Chow is no slouch and completes a whopping 93% of all his passes. And you can see here in the purple and in the green are the ones, obviously, the successful passes. Grey are non-passing event. I don't see too many of them. And purple ones are the failed passes. But even those mainly are dominating in the opposition half, the attacking direction. But even then, a lot of his successful green passes, you can see there, are in the opposition half. So when Kev Lawson talks about this, he says this isn't a case of defender always choosing the easy pass, which is true, the 93%. He's used to playing under pressure, though his completion rate drops by 13%, which is the same as Shah. So you're not going to get a significant downgrade when you're talking about Chow. And he shows a further map here of Malik Chow pressured passes in the final third. So when he's under pressure, he's still very much looking to pass forward where he can. You can see it there. And he talks about it. And he's more than happy fizzing the ball through the lines into the midfield, which is, you can see a lot of Botman does this really well. And attack in the 24-25, Chow completed 6.02 line-breaking passes per 90. 6.6, nearly 6 passes through the lines per 90 is really, really good, which is basically the same as Shah, who's just a little bit lower, about 5.86. And that's really good for us. The key difference between the two is that Shah is also happy to dribble the ball up the field, whereas Chow is not. So you know those epic runs that Shah gets up to. down to his balance issues. Obviously, Thiaw, you've seen that he's not always the greatest in terms of keeping his balance sometimes. But again, when measuring the two deep progressions, moving the ball into the final third via carry or pass, Thiaw is still at 4.15, Thiaw's at 4.95. So again, not a significant drop-off. And then he goes on to ask, is he a perfect partner for Botman? So generally speaking, did I just miss something? No, I didn't. So generally speaking, at NUFC, the team operates a cover LCB and a stopper RCB roles at the heart of the defense. So the right centre back typically goes up and is proactive in defending, whilst the cover left centre back usually covers the right centre back when they go up. So the heart of defense. So where Burn or Botman act as the last line of defense, releasing Shaw to attack the ball higher up the pitch. Typical stuff. So you can see on their heat maps here. So by plotting the heat map over the defensive actions, you can see the dynamic playing out across Botman and Shaw for the past 3 seasons. Burn's heat map is very similar to Botman's, highlighting the systemic nature of the relationship between the centre backs. So you can see Burn and Botman, or this is Botman here at the back, typically doing the stopper, the cover role, whereas Fabian Shaw a little bit higher up the pitch. And you can see also, if you go even on SofaScore, Shaw is a little bit higher in the press. You see the same for Malik Thiaw actually. So Dan Burn, defensive actions, again, centrally, but also mainly in the penalty box as well. When we look at Thiaw's defensive actions across his last 3 seasons, says Lawson, when playing as an RCB, even in the different team, the heat maps are strikingly similar. Thiaw will be coming into a role that will ask him to be active in the same area of the pitch he's used to, so pressing up high. Again, you can see Thiaw here on the left. You can see the heat map, not just in the defensive box, but very much on that right side. Even on the right side, mainly here, really high up into the middle, almost on the verge of final third of the opposition half. So very up front, and you can see very, very similarly to Fabian Shaw, as you can see it there. So conclusion. It's this that gives me confidence, because says Kev Lawson, in this addition to NUFC, this stopper role should help Thiaw maximize his best qualities while masking areas of his game that could otherwise be exposed in the last line of defense. And just a note on this, Eddie Howe's very good at recruiting players and putting players not only in the right positions, but fulfilling a role that fulfills their qualities, as will be the case for Thiaw. So Thiaw's quality, so the role what he's been doing, which is obviously the stopper, being assertive, being aggressive, is part of his main qualities. So Kevin Lawson goes on to say, after a couple of so-so seasons in Milan, it feels like another example of the club betting on Howe's coaching and the strong systemic fit to bring more out of a player that, with a little polishing, could be a real gem for Newcastle United. And again, this is an incredible article from Kev Lawson. Fantastic scouting report, in my opinion. Let me know what you guys think. I'm really excited about Thiaw. I think he's going to be an incredible addition to our team, and I'm really looking forward to him starting for Newcastle United. So let me just grab a drink of water and see what you guys are saying in the chat. As always, goodness gracious, I thought it's so mad the way this, and I always say this to you guys, but you got to experience it to believe me. The way the chat works, sometimes it pauses on my half. So when I'm reading and I'm doing stuff, I think, oh, there's only 3 or 4 messages. I can continue reading. I'll come back to it. But then when I get onto the chat, it all pops out, in terms of all the stuff, and I'm like, oh no, there's more than 3 or 4 messages. There's tons of messages. So yeah, again, going to Malik Thiaw, I'm absolutely excited. Let me find my place where I was before. Let me see what you guys are saying about Thiaw. Tons of, and again, God bless you guys for all your engagement as well. Okay, so I'll start from here. Let me get a drink of water. What do you guys think of Thiaw? I am looking forward to this. Ginesta, good to see you. God bless you. Smash the likes, people. I don't know how many likes we got as well. Please do continue to like, share, and subscribe. The channel's doing absolutely fantastically well because of your liking, your sharing, your subscribing. Please do continue doing that as well. And thank you for all the mod volunteers as well. Bobby Fairview says, big up Philip and Toon community. Good to see you, Bobby. God bless you. When are you guys sending the check for Jackson? Oh, goodness. I hope. We'll see. We'll see. Register Cav, good to see you. God bless you. Big up Philip. You must be buzzing. You got a player in. We've got 3. But yes, I am. So I'm going to look for questions around Chow. I know there's a few around Ramsey. We will talk about Ramsey in depth as well. I do have a scout report on him. Aaron Kemp says, need more players like Chow, players like with Champions League experience and are invaluable. And that's a great reminder, actually. He does have Champions League experience. He has phenomenal Champions League, phenomenal. It's really good Champions League experience. BT says, Eddie Howe said, we're really pleased to have Malik on board. He's a player I've admired for a long time. This is true. And somebody who will add real quality to our defensive options. Big up Eddie Howe. Let's see a little bit more on Mr. Chow as well. Is this around Chow? Aaron Kane says our patterns during preseason are too predictable. Same triangles of rotation down the right and left. There is nothing centrally, which is why someone like El Khanousi. Okay, it's my El Khanousi. I'll get back on that as well, actually. Oh, that's why you guys are talking. I'm thinking, why is there so much about Ramsey? Has something just happened about Ramsey, guys? Hunter, good to see you, Hunter. But if it's the same Hunter, I think it is. God bless. It's been a while. Newsbreaker and Ramsey, also good to see you doing well and growing, Philip. It is the same Hunter. Thank you, Hunter. I appreciate you for that. Has something happened, like literally, while I'm doing the show, guys? Has it been, are we putting a bid on something? Do let me know. BT says on Chow, Malik said, the gaffer, he's already talking gaffer, ordered from Milan, and he's already saying gaffer. The gaffer showed me his vision and what he wants to do with me as a player. Yes, and we've seen that from Kevin Lawson's scout report and the club itself, which is really exciting. I'm really looking forward to this. Let's see what else everyone is saying. Has something happened with Ramsey? Has he actually been? Because a few of you are like commenting on Ramsey. Has something happened like during the show? Okay, thank you for letting me know about my sound. I was worried. I was like, I'm talking. I hope I'm not like. Let's see anything more on Chow, but I missed someone. Someone said something on Chow. Yes, I think it's Ginesta. Ginesta says Chow is a front-footed CB. He is similar to Shaw. Steps out of off the line to intercept and goes into duels. Perfect to have someone like Botman next to him, who's a natural sweeper. I absolutely agree with this. Wobo Joe, good to see you and God bless you. He says, Wobo Joe says, how is he on the ball? Very good. Very good on the ball. Think above average athleticism are important, but on the ball qualities are more critical if you want to play from the back. Yes, I think he's ambidextrous as well. So with the left foot and the right foot. I don't know if you had a chance to see the scouting report that we just read out, Wobo Joe, but he's very, very good on the ball, very progressive, just as good as Shah as well. And I think Eddie Howe would encourage him to be even better. We'll do a couple more before we move on to Jacob Ramsey, and we'll talk about Isak and everything else later. I'm not. I keep putting. I don't want to put Isak on the front of everything all the time now. Aaron Kane says, I think our defending is going to be a lot more. There's going to be a lot of emphasis on positioning than raw attributes. Botman isn't the fastest himself, but Maldini wanted this partnership at Milan. He did. And Maldini knows a little bit about defensive partnerships. You can't argue with Maldini. I agree. BT says Eddie and especially Jason would have watched a lot of Chow, so they will have a plan to deal with the weaknesses. I agree with that. I absolutely agree with that. Ashton says Jacob Ramsey is nearly done. Has there been that? Is this during the show, guys, or is this like the old stuff? I'm going to be talking about that, Adrian, as well, about Jacob. Well remembered, Adrian. I am going to be talking about Jacob Ramsey and his relationship with with Gordon in terms of profile and partnerships as well. So that's going to be interesting as well. I think that is all for Chow, but it's good to see people are excited about him and what he can do. That will be really good. Oh, phenomenal. Geniesta. So we had 34 people watching with 24 likes. Again, our likes and watching ratio is absolutely phenomenal. Like, we've got Erling Haaland conversion rates here. So let's keep that up, folks. If you guys are new to the channel or you've just been watching the channel for a little while now, even tonight, but you haven't liked, please do continue like, share, and subscribe. Let's keep that conversion rate absolutely at the top if we can, and getting more people to come on. That's really welcome to this. So Nat says, yep, I like this attitude already. That's what we welcome with open arms. He said he'll do everything for the shirt. Yes, I agree. I love that. Okay, so there's more and more stuff on Ramsey. So that's a nice segue. Let's talk about Ramsey. I'm just going to see what you guys are saying. Is Ramsey, let me just, has something happened with Ramsey? Because I'm going to be talking about him literally right now. But let me just, what's happened with Ramsey? Has there been some news or something in regards to Ramsey? Apart from what we already know, I can't see anything. Have we bid for the gentleman or something? Let's see. I can't see anything on Ramsey right now. Let's see. Have we bid? We'll be starting to get more effort. At 40 mil too. So everyone's talking about 40 mil. I'm just looking at the X guys. What has happened? Oh, okay, so Craig. Okay, so let's get on this. Let me show you what I can see, and because that's a brilliant segue. And that is a brilliant segue. So Craig Hope reports. Let me make sure you guys can see that. Yeah, you can. So Craig Hope reports exclusive Newcastle are tonight pressing ahead with a move to sign Aston Villa midfielder Jacob Ramsey. Talks set to intensify tomorrow and a formal offer set to be submitted. Hope of progress before the weekend. Okay, and that's obviously before it's a mad for this to be happening before we actually play Aston Villa. That's going to be mad. We better get him out Aston Villa before the game, because he's a local boy. He's the equivalent of what Elliot Anderson is to us. Fabrizio Romano. Did I just see something from Fabrizio? Okay, so yes, Fabrizio says something. Let me show you guys on StreamYard. Not StreamYard. StreamYard. On X here. Fabrizio says, understand Newcastle closing on Jacob Ramsey deal with Aston Villa. Agreement almost done for 40 million package. As clubs are finalising the deal, and then here we go. Soon, despite West Ham approach, Ramsey only wants Newcastle as move is now imminent. And it's interesting because Raj Chauhan at the bottom says here, I think he's a doctor, but he knows like a lot of stats and stuff. He says, Willock Longstaff replacement, but not sure what solution to current squad weakness that Ramsey provides. Paqueta feels like the better option to boost creativity. Okay, well, let's talk about it. And there's actually some quite interesting stuff from you guys as well. What do you guys think about all this Ramsey stuff? So, interestingly, I'm going to use some of the stuff I talked about previously on Ramsey. And also, there was something else. There was a video from, I think it was Pythagoras, a bit of a video analysis as well. So hopefully we get some time to talk about that as well. But just before we get into it, let me see there's tons of stuff on. Obviously, it's breaking news by the looks of it. It's mad for this to be breaking right before what today is Tuesday. The women need to tie this up before the game. That's going to be mad otherwise. BT says Jacob Ramsey's agent is Unique Sports Group, same as Gordon, Marley, and Chow. Yeah, these are the agent relationships that we have. Aaron Kemp says 40 million from Ramsey. I think the market has better players for that price. Aaron's not feeling Ramsey. Adrian Pickett says, have we noticed that Fabrizio is now putting only wants new? Oh, Adrian, please don't let me start. I'm trying to be so. In the last show I did, I was like talking about the media and stuff. I felt myself getting, I don't know. I'm trying to be good today. In his Chow Ramsey tweets, trying to compensate for the Isak holy once in Liverpool. Yeah, you do get that sense, don't you? Well observed. Let's see. I think I've missed something here. NUFC 1997 says, subscribe on 908. I will be here. Well, thank you for your subscribing. God bless you. Welcome to the show. Please do continue enjoying. Again, folks, look, when you guys continue to liking, sharing, and subscribing, the show goes out to more and more people, and this is what the stuff we get. We get more new subscribers. Welcome to the show. Wobojog says, Philip, this season the games I'm definitely not missing are yes. Newcastle United versus Liverpool, game week 2. I'm already feeling like chills at St James Park. Palace versus Forest at Palace, and obviously Arsenal against Manchester United, game week 1. That's going to be very interesting. What is it? Sheshko versus Eucharist. Get the popcorn out. This should be fun and not tense at all. Owen Brown says he's a massive upgrade on Longstaff. I agree. I absolutely agree. Davey Eddy says, hi, Philip. Jacob Ramsey is very decent. Not sure where we are in the process of signing him, and he always gives us trouble when we play at Villa. He does. Jam Stasher, good to see you. God bless you. If we get Ramsey, why don't we take a punt on El Khanousi for 20 million? Well, what's his El Khanousi's release clause? Is it 20? 30, I think it's 30 mil or something like that. Let's see. Bobby Fairview, is Ramsey that much of an upgrade on Willock? Okay, great question and a great segue into some of the stuff some of the scouting reports that I wanted to talk about. So I've got a bit of, oh gosh, that's me. What did I just do there? All right, so now I'm going to just break down some of the stuff we talked about before about the scouting report and show a bit of a video analysis from it says Pythagoras, the channel. I don't know if the gentleman's name is Pythagoras. I doubt it, but he does really good analysis. Okay, so we're going to get into that in a moment. But let's just a quick reminder of what we said before about Jacob Ramsey. Now, with Jacob Ramsey, when we looked at him before, there was just to quickly break it down, it was in the context of, I think round about in January, there was a deal or a rumored deal between Newcastle and Aston Villa of a swap of Jacob Ramsey for Harvey Barnes to come to kind of obviously swap between. And we were talking about the benefits, and we're trying to understand, okay, from a financial perspective, what the benefits were, and then obviously with the player. Now, we're going to leave the financial stuff aside. It doesn't appear it's going to be a swap deal. It appears that we're buying him 40 million straight. So all of a sudden we hear some next minute news of Harvey Barnes going the other way for 40 million. Jeez, if that happens. And so at the time when we're looking at it, Jacob Ramsey for Harvey Barnes, I was thinking, is that like a straight swap? I was thinking of Jacob Ramsey as a left winger, and that's what people were saying. Even I've seen in the chat. But slowly, as I was matching him up to Harvey Barnes, I was matching him up to Morgan Rogers. Obviously, I was thinking, why did Aston Villa want to get off Jacob Ramsey and not Morgan Rogers? Obviously, we do know that he's the better player. but what and kind of matching again Jacob Ramsey to Willock to all these other guys, and what you realize is that Jacob Ramsey, then listening to his interviews, listen to his what he says about himself, and he describes himself as a box-to-box midfielder in the profile or the mode of a Frank Lampard. So Jacob Ramsey primarily is not a left winger; he's a left 8. He's a midfielder, he's an attacking midfielder. So Longstaff going. Jacob Ramsey is there for the left 8 position to rotate with Joelinton, but also he can play in the kind of in the 10 role as well as across the midfield as well. So he's primarily a midfielder. He's not there, in my opinion, from what I can see, to rotate with Gordon. So keep in mind some of the, while I'm kind of going through what kind of understanding what Jacob Ramsey is, there's a lot of comparisons to Joelinton, to Willock, and to others, and understanding is going back to Bobby Fairview's question: is he an upgrade? Why is it that Newcastle want him so much? What does he add to the team essentially? So, in the broad sense, let me just get onto this. Where is it? I'm going to be talking a lot about progression, creativity, goal involvement, and the differences that Jacob Ramsey has of all these players. And primarily, with my progression, is the ability to advance the ball towards the opponent's goal, either through passes or carries, right? And Newcastle have players that do the carry part, your Joe Willocks, your Joelintons, but are not very, very good at the passing part, which Jacob Ramsey is. So Jacob Ramsey provides up to 6.21 progressive passes and 2.37 progressive carries per 90. So if you put that together, it's about 8 or 9 progressive actions throughout the game. Okay, 6 progressive passes, nearly 2 and about over 2 progressive carries per game, whereas it's not the same for Willock and others. And when you've got runners in front of you, the likes of Gordon, I mean, hopefully Isak or whoever's going to be up front for us, Jacob Murphy in front of you, yes, it's great that you can carry the ball, but sometimes key passes helps to progress a lot more quicker, which is what Jacob Ramsey does and he loves to do. Creativity. So this measures the ability to create scoring opportunities for teammates, often through key passes and assists and shot creating actions. About chances rather than finishing them. Ramsey creates 2.68, so nearly 3 shot creating actions per 90 minutes. So nearly 0.68 key passes per 90 indicates a creative and is creative and good at creating shots for others. That's what he's going to add to us. Involvement in the final third. This involves how a player often is active in the opponent's final third, typically measured by touches in the attacking third of the penalty area. It shows how directly a player contributes to attacking area. So if you compare him, for instance, to an Elliot Anderson, who had previously had 20.8 touches, Ramsey has just a little bit less, around 20.1. So he's slightly less involved, but focusing on direct action. So we've had a lot of Elliot Andersons. Obviously not with us as a player, but Joe Willock is the same. Joelinton is the same. Ramsey has a better tilt towards progressive passes rather than progressive carries, although he is capable of both. And you'll see this in terms of a key difference between, for instance, and this is talking about Elliot Anderson, but Elliot Anderson is very similar to Willock and Joelinton. So when we're doing the comparisons with Jacob Ramsey, and you can see in the summary of differences, progression, remember, especially with the passing, is about moving the ball forward creatively, and it's about setting up chances of involvement in the attack. And third is about being active in the opponent's final third, which is what Willock and Joelinton are, and goal involvement and direct impact on the scoreboards and goal assists. A player like Ramsey excels in progression and creativity, while Anderson, and you can put Joe Willock and Joelinton in the same bracket, slightly higher attacking third involvement, shows a more direct attacking focus with having a similar goal involvement. So Ramsey is a slightly different profile to what we already have in our midfields, and why I think we're looking at him. We kind of went through in the previous kind of understanding, why would, for instance, so Rodgers plays in the 8 as well for Villa. Rodgers, why, for instance, Rodgers is a little bit more preferred to Ramsey. Partly the reason why Ramsey's been kind of put out in the left wing, but hasn't been as flourishing, is because of Rodgers. So Rodgers is far more impactful in his direct play and GA for Aston Villa, and kind of and his style of play is more direct and dynamic, and he excels in progressive carries. He's also a little bit more creative than Ramsey. So he's an elite player, Rodgers. And so when you've got Rodgers, you have less of a need for a Ramsey. But Newcastle do not have a Ramsey style of player who's a lot more with his key passes, progressive passes, and that style of play. So Ramsey, and kind of understanding what kind of player Ramsey is, Ramsey has a higher pass completion, for instance, compared to Rodgers, who's more direct. So Rodgers would fit in really nicely in our team, but he would fit the same profile as a Willock and Joelinton, except for his output in terms of goals is higher. Ramsey is better in terms of his pass completions, but that's about it in terms of him and Rodgers. Rodgers is an exceptional player. This is probably indicating why Ramsey's Villa are willing to sell Ramsey, especially also for their own financial situation, where obviously he's an academy player, he's a homegrown player, so this is going to be pure profit for them. But also in terms of comparing Ramsey to your Joelintons, as we spoke about earlier, Jacob Ramsey's a versatile midfielder who excels in progression. We talked about passing and chance creation. He's solid defensively, but lacks direct goal contribution. And that's okay, because you'll have Anthony Gordon in front of him, who have Isak hopefully in front of him, and Jacob Murphy and others in front of him doing that kind of stuff, who love doing the direct involvement stuff, right? He's solid. And Joelinton, for instance, comparing him to Joelinton, who's a robust midfielder with strong defensive contributions, decent goal involvement, and higher work rate, although he's less progressive but more involved in the attacking third. So the main difference is Ramsey is a playmaker focused on progression and creativity. So we don't have someone that does that. And again, I think Eddie Howe, he's going to do the same thing he's done with Chow, which is play him in the position and in the role that he loves to do, which is to be a stopper, to be progressive, and to be assertive. I think he plans to do, again, to bring the best qualities out of Ramsey, which is to be an attacking midfielder, box-to-box midfielder, creating chances, being allowed to pass progressively to other runners. That's going to be a big, big thing for Ramsey, but in terms of what he's going to be doing. Again, very similar to if you compare him to Willock. Again, Ramsey's the more versatile midfielder who excels in progressive passing. Again, it's the same thing. If you compare their ref stats, again, he's the more creative midfielder. Joe Willock is a midfielder who's focused on attacking third involvement. So being in the final third, creating chances and pressing, but not necessarily doing the passing and the progressive passing that I think Eddie Howe wants to unlock defenses. And I think he's thinking about also unlocking low block teams. So the main difference between Ramsey and the Joe Willock, going back to some of the other easy and upgrade, Ramsey's a playmaker who drives the team forward with progressive play, while Willock is more attacking-minded midfielder with a better goal involvement but less overall dynamism. So why Ramsey's better than Willock? Willock's stats show he's less involved in progressive play, so 3.16 progressive passes if you compare that to Ramsey's 6.21 progressive passes, and has fewer touches and lower success rate on take-on percentages. So this indicates he doesn't contribute as much to build-up Willock. That's talking about build-up. That's talking about Willock. And ball progression or versatility across phases of play, focusing more on attacking third from live passes per 90 rather than a well-rounded midfield presence, which is what Ramsey provides. So Ramsey is an overall upgrade to your Willocks in terms of a profile of player. More on why Ramsey's better. So Eddie Howe likely prefers Jacob Ramsey over Joe Willock for his superior versatility, progressive play, and all-round midfield contributions that align with Newcastle's high intensity and transitional style. Ramsey's 6.21 progressive passes and 2.37 progressive carries per 90 compared to Willock's show he's more effective at advancing ball and linking play. So especially if we're talking about our forward players, because it's unlikely. I think getting Ramsey probably makes it unlikely, going back to Nicholas Jackson, it makes it unlikely that we will get a Nicholas Jackson who's very good at linking play as well. And we're probably going to get another final third type of attacker in the form of a Wissa to back up Isak if Isak stays. Obviously, now we've heard about Mateta. Mateta isn't necessarily a link-up merchant type of thing as well. So I think we're looking for a number 10 rather than a forward who can link up play. And that attacking 10 or attacking midfielder is a Jacob Ramsey. Yes, Jacob Ramsey. So the other, just going back to it again, Ramsey's highest linking play, which shows Howe's emphasis on transitions and build up. Ramsey's higher success has a higher successful take on percentage as well, adds flair and unpredictability, so he's good at dribbling past players, while his 2.68 shot creating actions per 90 is higher than Willock's at 1.86 as well, make him a better creator. Additionally, Ramsey's 42.7 touches per 90 compared to Willock's 44 and greater involvement in the final third, 18 compared to Willock's 15, suggests he can control games better. Again, Eddie Howe's looking for midfielders that can help Newcastle control the games better, offering Howe a more dynamic and well-rounded midfielder to complement players like your Bruno Guimaraes in the 4-3-3 or 4-2-3-1, while Willock provides more direct involvement, but isn't as suitable and compatible with where Newcastle are trying to be in their progressive play. We're going to get to Gordon in a minute, but as well, because there's also that profile and relationship. So hopefully that kind of answers some questions in terms of why. And Bobby Fairview, as he points out, Ramsey also has Champions League experience, which is absolutely vital. He has Champions League experience. He's not a kid as well. Thanks, Bobby. Thanks for reminding me of that. Actually, I totally skipped over that. I see a lot more chats. So before we get into that, also that Ramsey's not a stranger to our team, because we're gonna talk about a little bit about his profile of some of our players as well. But I see you guys in the chat, so let me get a drink of water. Okay, and you guys are saying so far in regards to Ramsey, Raj. I'm enjoying the show so much, guys, because I'm not just talking about Isak. I'm going to talk about Isak in a moment, but I love talking about scouting profiles and players. And we've got 50 in the chat. I don't know how many likes we've got, but it's please, for all the folks that are new or old or just been watching the show, if you haven't liked or subscribed, please do. It'll be fantastic. So Aaron Kent says, Raj is bang on. Ramsey doesn't improve us. Okay, we need a 10 in like a Paqueta or someone like a Lamine Kamara who can cover multiple positions would be a better signing. So Aaron is very much not in favor of Ramsey. But I think I can see what the intent is with Ramsey from what we've read so far, which is to have a more well-rounded and more progressive midfielder that's different to your Willocks, that's different to your Joelintons. Matthew says, hope we still get Bilal. His creativity will be needed and we could develop and sell him at a higher fee. And that could still be possible. It's not impossible, but let's see what happens. We could sell Willock and get El Khalil as well. Oh, I said his name on you guys will know who I'm talking about, the Leicester player. Matlin says, I read an article about an hour ago that Manchester United want to hijack Child deal, but he rejected. Do let me know what the article is. I'm sure my fellow football content creators aren't going to be talking about it. They want to talk about Newcastle's rejections, but just not theirs. Pythagoras has already. That's probably the reason why he calls himself Pythagoras. It makes sense, actually. Thanks, Adrian. David Eddy says, yes, Ramsey is, in my opinion, an upgrade on Willock. And at 24 is the perfect age. He's quick, running with the ball. I think so too, Davey. Davey also adds Philip. Philip, Ramsey can play wide, but he's also an attacking midfielder. Yeah, I think he's primarily an attacking midfielder who can play wide. And I'm just following up on his own interviews, how Ramsey describes himself. He models himself like he says, I'm a box-to-box midfielder. Kind of if there's a player he describes himself as, it would be like a Frank Lampard, and he sees himself. I always look at that. He sees himself as a midfielder. And I don't know if Wobble is here on the channel, but for instance, Ethan Wanyeri, like I see a lot of Arsenal fans saying, he can cover for Saka on the right. We don't need Madueke, for instance. But if you in Ethan's own videos, in own interviews, he always describes himself as a midfielder. And when asked about the right wing role, he says, "Yeah, I can do a job there." But he's a midfielder. He's a number 10. So I always like to see how players describe themselves. And that's how Ramsey describes himself, as a midfielder, box-to-box midfielder. Kim Cam says, even though to all the Toon Army, hi Philip, God bless you. Kim Cam, always good to see you. Sam says, fully lads, you signed someone. Yes, and we were able to do it with, I think it's a third sign actually as well. BT says El Khanousi release clause is in his contract 22.5 million, which expires on Friday. Okay, I thought it was Wednesday. Brilliant. Thank you for letting me know. Aaron says my mic is cracking up. Okay. My mic is cracking up. Okay, let me know, guys, if it's... Okay, let me know, guys, if it's sounding better. I'm still getting the green light to my mic here, which shows that it's working. But if it's not working well, do let me know. I'll see what I can do. Oh, Jordy Z said the same thing. My mic is cracking up. All right, check 1 2, check 1 2. All right, folks, let me know how my mic is sounding now. Hopefully it's all good. Oh gosh, people are saying my mic is going. I didn't even notice all of this. My mic is forcing the move. Oh my word. Oh gosh, sorry guys. You guys have been trying to tell me all this time. Oh my word, sorry. Let me see how it sounds. It fixed itself. Oh, praise God. Thank you, Lord. Thank you, Lord. It's good now. Thank you so much. Guys, my apologies. So sorry for that. Goodness gracious me. So whoever said my mic is forcing the move, I like that one. Fair play to you. All right. So all those other benefits that we spoke about with Mr. Ramsey, he's also not a stranger to our team. And again, I like this. He's also played with Gordon in England, and I think Eddie Howe again is going to be looking at this when he's talking about about relationships in the team. And where do they play? Ramsey, as you can see in the back, left 8, and Gordon as the left wing forward. And as you guys can see, these are from the news articles from their games together. They are all playing they're playing really well. So I'll read that in a moment. Let me just get to you guys, make sure I don't lose the chat section. But it reads, this is from their time in 2022, 22nd of June 2023 versus Czech Republic, where they won 2-0. And it says, and this is from the news article, evidence of their on-pitch chemistry. Key moment, Ramsey scored the opening goal in the second half after a fantastic 1-2 with Gordon. Reports describe Gordon clipping the ball across the box in the first half, with Ramsey nearly converting, and their interplay on the edge of the area leading to Ramsey's cool finish. Sounds like they're breaking down a low block. This suggests a fluid understanding with Gordon's pace and vision, setting up Ramsey's dynamic runs. Player of the match on that day was Ramsey, was named player of the match, partly due to his goal facilitated by Gordon, indicating their combined impact. So analysis. The Guardian, this came from The Guardian and The Athletic, noted England's attacking fluency of Gordon's lively presence in the wing, and Ramsey's ability to break into the box, creating dangerous moments. Their combination worked well. So, and was able to break the deadlock. So again, Eddie Howe would be looking at this. Their relationships, they know each other. They're not going to be strangers. Again, here, summary of player profiles. Anthony Gordon's a forward who contributes to both goal scoring and playmaking with a focus on attacking, third involvement, and progressive carries. And more we know he doesn't necessarily want to be in the middle of the park. He doesn't want to be too involved in the build-up phase. Please put me in the final third. Can you please get a midfielder who's good at releasing me early with that progressive passing, who does at least 6 progressive passes in the game? Cue up Mr. Ramsey. Jacob Ramsey, a versatile forward or midfielder who excels in build-up play, passing and progression. He's more defensively active, but offers little in terms of direct goal contribution. Mr. Ramsey, he does not necessarily want the weight or responsibility of goal scoring, although it is in his locker. The main difference is Gordon is an attacking contributor with focus on the final third, while Ramsey is a playmaker, an all-round midfielder who supports the team's structure but lacks the attacking output. And it's true, and it's working really, really well for him. So I think that relationship between Gordon and Ramsey is going to pay dividends, in my opinion. So before I play this video from Pythagoras, who knows the game from all angles, he talks about, he actually gives an in-depth analysis of Ramsey, I think 3 years ago now, and he's actually compares. He talks about him a little bit in line with, not when I say this, he's not saying he is Jude Bellingham. He's saying like at the time there were certain comparisons being made because of his talent and his profile. But he breaks it down, his shooting, his pass, and everything else, and kind of on top of what we're talking about here. So I'll play some clips from that. Before I do that, you can see already the chemistry that Ramsey has of Gordon. They're well aware of each other. So I'm really looking forward to this as well. So let's see what you guys are saying so far. Great to see Mighty Mag in the chat from NUFC Talk TV. God bless you, sir. Villa fan this weekend. What you expecting? I've got Villa fan in here. Great to have you on the show. God bless. Big Watson said Ramsey's good, man. What we expecting to get when we have Tonali, Bruno, Joelinton not getting elite backups. Yeah. Mighty Max is a Villa fan. Remember? Okay, so it's a Villa fan. There is a Villa fan here. Big up Villa fan. Good to see you. God bless you. Welcome to the show. Adrian Pickett says the Gordon Ramsey cook-off. Exactly. We're looking forward to it. David H says Bournemouth are closing in on a deal to sign. A deal after reaching agreement on personal terms, which would probably mean that Ouattara gets released to Brentford and Wissa gets released to Newcastle United. Thank you for the update, sir. Really appreciate that. David H further adds, reports last week stated that Brentford were in talks to sign Bournemouth's Dango Ouattara as the replacement for Wissa. Yes, absolutely. So we're looking for this as well. So let me play some this video from from Pythagoras, and this again is from, you guys can't see it. I don't think you can see it. Let me add it here. No, wrong one. Remove this one. Add this one. Brilliant. Okay. And this is how good is Jacob Ramsey tactical analysis. This is from 3 years ago. So Ramsey would have been 21 years old, kind of breaking onto the scene then. I'm going to just play small clips of what Pythagoras says, and he breaks it down into, he talks about Ramsey's shooting, he talks about his dribbling, he talks about and kind of gives a conclusion on him and what he likes about him. So let's see what you guys, can you see the screen? Yeah, you can. Hopefully my mic isn't crackling either. So let's, again, add a little bit more detail in terms of what we're looking at with Mr. Ramsey. So let me get onto the YouTube. Okay, so it talks about his shooting. One
thing that stood out about Ramsey is his clinicality in front of goal. He has an eerie composure, which explains his elite conversion rate, and it leaves other box-to-box midfielders in the dust.
So even though I talked about his lower output in terms of goal scoring, the analysis is that he does have composure in front of goal. And we actually saw that him, obviously, we talked about his combination with Gordon as well. And maybe it is about him being put in an environment where he's with an Eddie Howe and in a team and players that he knows around to bring that best out of him.
Now, the way he lets this defender run past him before setting himself with a finish is exceptional. Not many EPL strikers.
This is at 2021.
This is with his other foot, and the purity of the
so
strike
left and right.
Impressive. Never felt like he was in any doubt.
Lovely. So you can see that in him. One more here.
Here he runs into a box of crowded bodies, yet has a clear
1-2, just like it did with Gordon. Finish.
Not to score.
So it's in him to do this. It's in him to do this and running and crashing into the box again.
Here again, a nice touch sets himself.
First touch, bang. So he's very capable of doing this. I said that was the last one. I want to see this one as well.
Corner. Here, once again, lets bodies sort of run into each other, keeps his composure, and another clean strike.
Beautiful. So it's in him to do this in terms of his shooting. Okay, so you can see that he is in his ability to do that. So the fact that he hasn't got that many goals recently isn't because he can't shoot or he doesn't get himself in the right positions. I think the more confidence he gets, the more game time he gets, the more tutelage he gets under Howe, and combining with players like Gordon, who's done with before, you're going to see the best out of him. So now we're going to talk about his dribbling a little bit as well.
Ramsey gets it through the legs of Decore, whether he meant it or not.
In terms of dribbling, Ramsey's already demonstrating elite traits. His progressive runs per 90 and his acceleration stand out, and they illustrate...
Again, this is 3 years ago.
His ability to inject pace and uncertainty into a game when he has to break
against
between
us.
The lines.
Pass one, pass two.
Now, what makes him an effective runner is a good low center of gravity. He's able to shield the ball here. And it's very hard to knock him off balance without fouling him. He's not the most technical dribbler, but like an Oxlade-Chamberlain, he's got that combination of
pace,
power, agility,
power and acceleration,
speed,
turn.
And once he's away
from
the midfield, it's very hard to catch up.
And you can see that pass, that weighted pass. This is what Eddie Howe's looking for. Long passing, I think it talks about that. That's something that could be improved.
Particularly Ramsey's long passing is average. He doesn't hit many. And when he does, the chances of success is 55%, which doesn't really scream elite just yet. But if we look at his technique from the eye test, it does scream top-class potential. Look at the way he flights this with his left foot, weighted to absolute perfection. And under the tutelage of someone like Gerrard, you can expect it.
I will know how it worked out with Gerrard, but under Eddie Howe,
to become a strong part of his game. There, the height of the ball is just perfection.
Lovely. So it's in him to do it. Crossing.
With his role as a wide CM in a Christmas tree, it's no surprise to see that Ramsey puts in more crosses than your average box-to-box midfielder. His accuracy has been hit and miss from a statistical perspective, but the eye test shows us a player who can quickly get his head up, realise where his teammates are, and put that cross in. Being ambidextrous also helps. He's able to cross with either foot.
Ambidextrous, left, right. He's got,
and because he plays predominantly down the left, this ability to put a ball in like that shows a lot of potential.
That's it. That's it. That's all he's looking for. He talks about the heading isn't the greatest, but I'm going to skip the heading stuff. We're buying a lot of ambidextrous players at the moment. We just talked about Chow, ambidextrous. And now Ramsey, ambidextrous, which is interesting to see. Let's see about his defending.
In terms of defending, Ramsey is a proper ball winner. He's similar to Fred in that he's hardworking, great on the front foot, i.e. pressing and aggressively ball hunting.
So we don't lose just because that's why he's a well-rounded midfielder. He can do the passing, the dribbling, the through balls, but doesn't mean that it's a trade-off between the defensive contributions that you get from a Joelinton, for instance. And we know that Joelinton is unique because he's huge and he's scary, right? But Ramsey as well is very good in his defensive contributions.
His weakness is that he's not good at tracking runs towards his own goal in central areas.
At 21, remember this is at 21. Again, this is something that can be improved.
Now, this is a situation where he is strong, protecting the flank, able to track his runner down the flank. That's not a problem to him. Again, defending out wide here, one-on-one sort of situation. Solid in the tackle, good reading of the game. happy to be on the front foot again, participating in the press. This is a problem. Doesn't anticipate that his teammate's going to lose the ball, and then he's just ambling back.
Again,
Even when he's
against
close
us.
to the box here, doesn't want to pick up anyone. Once again, slowly getting back. No,
Again, at 21. I don't know if that's gone worse or it's improved. So let's see what the conclusion is. Now, again, these are things that Eddie Howe will work on him with.
forging his own route to the top, and he looks like he has the tenacity and the quality to make his own mark. I referred to the Ox earlier, and he was a player who, once he turned into a midfielder before injury struck, he had a powerful burst through the middle, had a goal threat from the middle, and was able to influence games at the very highest level. Now, Ramsey doesn't quite have that experience just yet, and he doesn't quite have the deftness of a Bellingham in terms of tight ball situations, but he is neat and tidy. And at the age of 20, he's good enough to get into the England squad ahead of, say, Conor Gallagher, who is a player that has a lesser ceiling, in my opinion. Whilst his stats on the whole are solid rather than spectacular, the eye test suggests that this is a player that the likes of United and Liverpool should be all over. He's the prototype perfect modern English midfielder, and there's so much talent there to mold. His ambidexterity is really, really something that stands out. He's one of the most exciting young English midfielders I've seen. And I'll be honest with you, he's more my type of player than a Jude Bellingham, but he just hasn't had the chance, obviously, to play at the highest level just yet.
Welcome to Newcastle United. Hopefully, we get to see that talent. And again, you can see an example of, again, similar to Chow, and what they're kind of the Malik Thiaw, which was again, there's a reliance on Eddie Howe developing the player and kind of bringing out the gem that's kind of essentially kind of hiding within, which is happening with Chow, and it's probably going to be the case also with Jacob Ramsey. So I'm not surprised, and people are giving their honest opinions, which is, man, I don't see Ramsey as the guy. Get Paqueta, and I rate Paqueta as all highly, but these players, your Jacob Ramseys, your Malik Thiaws, they need coaching. There's some real raw elite talent within them. They need coaching, and Eddie Howe and his team are backing themselves to be able to get it out of them. So anyway, let's see what you guys are saying. Again, it's a midfielder, a player that I am excited about. Kind of hearing everything about him. He's a different profile of midfielder. He's well-rounded. His progressive passing, his dynamism in terms of being able to what he's able to do on the ball. How it's going to be able to help us to break down low blocks as well as hit off on transitions. His chemistry with Anthony Gordon is going to be absolutely amazing. I bet you any money when Anthony Gordon heard about this move for Jacob Ramsey, he was rubbing his hands together saying this is going to be absolutely perfect. This could unlock Anthony Gordon as well as unlock Jacob Ramsey. The only person who might not be too happy about it is Joelinton, but we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. So let's see what you guys are saying in the chat. RoboJog says, think NUFC are better off hijacking that Ouattara move. Wissa isn't physical enough to play as a lone striker. Plus, your front line average height will drop significantly with Wissa. Good point. It's a good point. David H's Bournemouth's interest has not clearly not cooled. What's happened? The Villa fans says all I cared about was our important players staying, which is thankfully happening. Okay, so you're not too bothered about Ramsey leaving. Okay, fair play. Villa fans says, I think Ramsey going means we can spend big now thanks to my Geordie brothers. Always glad to help. Always glad to help. You might spend it on Barnes. You don't have a left winger, and I know Rodgers doesn't fancy that left wing role unless you plan to get somebody else. You might get Barnes. So Dave Yeti says Ramsdale, Chow, Elanga, Chow. Or you mean I think you mean Ramsey, right? Hopefully, we are building a very solid squad. It's a squad that we hopefully would have finished 3 transfer windows ago, but we couldn't. But yes, I absolutely agree with that. Gary Mahan says, apologies if I pronounced it, but by the way, great to have you in the channel and God bless you. I still believe this window will be seen as a success when it closes. We'll put it out and have faith. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Especially if we end up keeping this, that's going to be a hell of a window. One to tell the grandchildren about. David says, oops, Chow signed twice. Villa fans says, Ramsey broke his toe after that season. Unfortunately, he wasn't the same, which was a shame because he couldn't use too much pressure on his foot. Okay, so that probably, hopefully that's healed up now. I think Barnes had something similar. He broke something in his foot and he was away for quite a bit. Kim Cam says, we should not worry about the brand and the name. Good players will thrive at our club. I absolutely agree. Because that's what happened with Isak. That's what happened with Gordon. And people act like they knew who Bruno Guimaraes was, but nobody cared when we brought him in. Now, oh yeah, we always knew that he was an amazing guy. So absolutely agree with that. Kim Cam says, we have a good manager and a good team. Any player will be extra. So he's very confident there. From Kim Cam, Mike Max says we need to cover for J7. He's just a yellow card or red card away. I think that's Ramsey. I think the cover is Ramsey, Mighty Mag. I think Cam says, I think G7 will have a great season. Do you mean J7? It's my Joelinton. Just let me know, Kim Cam. David Eddie says, Philip, it's a long season and Joelinton is a bit injury prone. He's getting older. He is getting older. There has to be a players rested throughout the season. Can't play every game. Exactly. And that counts for Bruno as well. It's not just Joelinton. That counts for Bruno. That counts for Tonali. Now that we've got Mr. Ramsey, Miley, and we've still got Willock. We'll see how it goes. I wonder if Willock still stays at the club. That's going to be interesting. But we've got much better depth with Miley and with Ramsey, in my opinion. That should be good. So I absolutely agree with that. Okay, so I'm excited about Malik Thiaw. I'm excited about Jacob Ramsey. I think they're going to be great additions to our team as well. There's been some other rumors about Mateta. We'll see how that goes. Wissa, we'll see how that goes. Let's see if we get El Khanousi tomorrow. Is either his release clause on Wednesday or on Friday. We'll see how that goes. And let's see how many more posts we're going to get on Isak as well. On Isak, let's talk about the media. We're now going to the final. I'm so glad I'm not going to be spending too much time on this, to be honest. I'll be fair with you guys. I say that, then I end up spending time on it. But I put all the media news together in one big block because, yeah. I'm at that stage of it. It's like, yeah. We are, but we are with it. So there's a lot of stuff here. Did I put anything else? No. There's a lot of stuff here. Let's start off with the middle. Alexander Isak from David Ornstein, obviously from this morning, really. And then we'll work our way around. Alexander Isak adamant he will not play for Newcastle again, even when the window closes. Even when the window closes, without the exit, the 25-year-old views Newcastle's career over. Plus, no wish to reintegrate. Clubs say he's not for sale, but exploring market amid Liverpool interest and striker want. So I think this is in response to, previous weeks or previous day around Newcastle maintaining the not for sale situation, but also, as other people have been saying, is is trying to set up and prepare Liverpool for a second bid, because it doesn't appear that Newcastle, because there's this whole thing about if Newcastle open the doors, if only Newcastle open the doors, then we'll bid. It's the strangest transfer situation I have encountered personally. I don't know what you guys think about it. It's up to Newcastle. And again, and I've said in previous weeks, operation is Newcastle's fault. He is underway. We're going to talk about that in a moment. But everyone's kind of, Isak is agent, Liverpool and all the media people are pointing on Isak. If only Newcastle open the doors. If only Newcastle open the doors. And it's not about Newcastle opening the doors. It's about players honouring their contracts. And if teams, any buying team, not just Liverpool, wants an Isak or any Newcastle or any team that wants a Newcastle player, you have to put in the bids. You have to put in what is our valuation. We've been very clear about that since January. They even interviewed Isak about it, and they said, "How do you feel about the £150 million price that Newcastle have put on you?" So, Liverpool are not bidding blind. Now, I've put to the left, just to add to it, I've put Isak's agent next to him. Again, to add context to it, to see where we're at with it. And I've got some key facts about, or some key points about Mr. Vladika, or known as Vlado Lemic, who was born in 1966 in Zagreb. Based on the information that we have on him, he's a Serbian former football player turned prominent football agent. His playing career was modest, primarily as a midfielder. This is according to Grok, by the way. For Borac Banja Luka in the Yugoslav Second League, with the highlight of winning the 87-88 Yugoslav Cup. He later played briefly in Belgium for, this is KFC Herentals, and Les SK under coach Eric Gerets. All right, so agent career. After retiring for playing, Lemic became an influential football agent known for orchestrating high-profile transfers across European football. He is associated with the agency Universal 22, which represents numerous players, including Alexander Isak, with a total client market value of 313.65 million euros. So a lot of market value there. Notable transfers from Lemic was instrumental in Alexander Isak's record-breaking transfer from AIK to Borussia Dortmund in 2017, which set a new Vescan transfer record at approximately 85 to 90 million SEK, Swedish money. He reportedly earned 20 to 25% of that transfer fee. Sheesh, that's a lot. Other significant deals included Mateo Kezman's move to PSV Eindhoven, Royston Drenthe and Jan Huntelaar to Real Madrid, and Luka Modric's transfer from Tottenham to Real Madrid. Connections. Lemic has strong ties with influential figures in football, including former Chelsea owner Roman Abramovich, former PSV scout Pete De Vissa, and Real Madrid's former football director Predrag Mijatovic. His network extends to South America through his brother Zoran Lemic, facilitating transfers like those of Juelo Gomez and Jefferson Farfan to PSV. Controversies. Lemic has faced scrutiny for alleged financial irregularities. He was banned from PSV Eindhoven's training ground in 2008 after conflict with general manager Jan Rekker, with unproven allegations of profiting improperly from transfers. Ajax and AIK have also reportedly banned him from their facilities due to disputes and concerns over his methods. The Cyprus leak, as is in quotes here, revealed that Lemic allegedly received 100 million euros in secret payments from Roman Abramovich through offshore companies, which is, I think, what Chelsea are trying to declare to the Premier League at the moment, aren't they? I don't know if it's the same ones, but I'll be surprised if it isn't. 100 million is a lot. Potentially linked to transfers of players like Ian Robin, Nemanja Matic, and Branislav Ivanovic to Chelsea, raising concerns about third-party transactions. He was investigated by FIFA for irregularities in Milan Badic transfer to Hamburg in 2012, though no wrongdoing was proven. Lack of FIFA license. Lemic operates as, this is according to other sources, they're all written in like either Croatian or Swedish here, so I can't say what the sources are. But I do encourage you guys to look it up. Lack of FIFA license, it says. Lemic operates as an advisor rather than a licensed FIFA agent, often working through associations like Dejan Mitrovic, who was formerly listed in the Isak to Dortmund deal to comply with regulations. Very interesting there. Universal 22 split. In 2024, Lemic parted ways with the Swedish branch of Universal 22, including advisor Mazara Jadamar, amid reports of conflicts involving, and this is what's been reported, and it's allegation, it's not proven, but it reads, amid reports of conflicts involving gang-related issues. He confirmed that Alexander Isak remains his client, working directly with him rather than the Swedish division. Reputation. Lemic is known for his assertive and discreet approach, avoiding media interviews and maintaining low profile. Some describe him as a deal maker with a vast network, while others, including Dutch media, have labeled his methods as aggressive, or in quote here, mafia-like. Current role with Isak. Lemic is actively involved in managing Isak's career, with recent reports indicating he has communicated Isak's desire to leave Newcastle United, potentially for a record-breaking €150 million move to Liverpool, showcasing his proactive approach in high-stakes negotiations. Tell me about it. So there's a lot of allegations. Nothing has been proven. There's a few clubs that don't like him, including Ajax. And controversies around money being leaked. So I mentioned this because it kind of adds context to what we're talking about with Isak, his current behavior, and with the agent that he's with, in my opinion, based on some of the things that we're reading, is it beyond norm? I don't think so. I don't think so at all. And so while Isak was busy telling everybody that he is no longer playing for Newcastle United, even if the transfer window closes, there's a report from Mike McGrath, but also from Newcastle official website as well, 3 or 4 hours after the Ormsby bomber. Alexander Isak, this is from Mike McGrath. Alexander Isak has been given a squad number by Newcastle for the 25-26 season. That squad number is number 14. So that is a direct or indirect, but I think it's a direct response from Newcastle United to Alexander Isak and his agent, who believe that he no longer plays for Newcastle. Newcastle United have very different ideas and are very much saying, no, he is registered, he's our player, and he is expected to play in the 25-26 season. I personally like that response from Newcastle United, and I let them know because it shows that we are holding the line and we are being consistent with everything that we've been saying so far about Newcastle about Newcastle United being consistent in saying that he's not for sale. And if he were for sale, it will be under our terms, which are Newcastle get 2 quality forwards and they receive their £150 million. It doesn't matter how many times to go online via your agent, via various transfer journalists, whether it's Ornstein, whether it's Ben Jacobs, whoever you want to use to keep on, whether it's Alex Crook, whoever you want to use to continue this online, this media, trying to pressure Newcastle into just giving up and selling you off. Newcastle United have strongly responded, but in a very professional and diplomatic way, have let him know you are registered to Newcastle United. Your number is 14 and you will be playing in our 25-26 season unless certain conditions are met. I also wanted to add to that, actually, is a post from John E. And I really like John E's posts in general because they're very, very sensible and comes from a mature spirit. And he talks about a situation very similar that Man City faced with Carlos Tevez. And this is Newcastle's litmus test. This is Newcastle's acid test with this sack. And this is what Johnny says, and he describes it and then explains what the situation was. He says, like City owners before us, our owners won't stress about a few million. This is because making a point that no player or club will bully us going forward, and this is the important part. It's beyond that money now. It honestly is. They set the tone for the club's future. Yeah, exactly. If you want to do business with Newcastle United, going online, pressuring Newcastle, whether it's the agent, whether it's directly the club, isn't going to happen. And he makes a reference to Carlos Tevez. So in September 2011, Carlos Tevez was accused, of refusing to come on as a substitute for Manchester City in a Champions League match against Bayern Munich. Amazing. Prompting a 2-week suspension, maximum fine, and his removal from the squad. The dispute escalated when Tevez returned to Argentina without permission, remaining there for over 3 months. Wow. While rejecting the return, and there's granted a transfer. So what did City do? Manchester City refused to terminate his contract, retaining his registration to block him from joining another club for free while seeking a buyer. In February 2012, this is now, what's that? How many months is that? 5 months later now, in February 2012, Tevez issued a public apology. If I was Isak, I'll be reading the story, and I'll be getting on the phone to Tevez and asking him how these things turn out. Tevez issued a public apology, resumed training, and played a key role in City's run-in to secure their first league title in 44 years. When people keep on talking about he doesn't want to play for the badge anymore, you're being rejected, he doesn't care. Why keep a player? Why keep a player who doesn't want to pay you anymore? Because at some point, when you show them, when a club shows the player that they're not going to put up with their shenanigans, that the club holds all the cards, they hold the player registration, you cannot move or change without this, that they will eventually come back down to earth. Now, it took Tevez until February. Goodness gracious. Manchester City in the Champions League game against Bayern Munich, the guy refused to come on. But he returned, and Manchester City won their first Premier League title in 44 years. So that's the happy ending. But I'm sure when they were going through it, everybody else was telling them, look at you, you're a small club. He wants to move on and do bigger things. You're not worth it. Can't you see one of the bigger clubs involved? Can't you see that he's not playing for the badge? Who do you think you are? You're holding him hostage. You're keeping back his career. Manchester City said, we don't care what the external voices say. We are going to maintain our principle and our dignity to the point where Tevez returned and was played actively in their role to secure their first Premier League title in 44 years. Newcastle have to keep this line going. They have to. They have to keep this line going. It's beyond now. It's almost beyond money. Obviously, if Liverpool give the 150 million, they give the 150 million, and we get our two quality forwards, and whoever they are, they have to be quality forwards. Then fine. But if those conditions are not met, then Isak will play for Newcastle United. And he will do it with a smile on his face. He will do it scoring goals and getting us into the positions that, in terms of, helping us reach our ambitions. So it's an important acid test in this next 3 weeks for everybody involved in Newcastle United. Let's see how it ends. And already my camera's playing up because it too, just like, it's also trying to force a move, I suppose. But just before I get to the chats, I'll finish off with a couple other comments as well. Excuse me, comments. Other stuff that I thought was interesting from online, and that is, I won't start with the Ben J because I would start with again Sean Casey kind of commenting on the Ornstein post. He made this video just before the transfer window started as well, where he said, and this is a recording from I think someone else online, where they said that's crazy because he recorded this just after the season ended and didn't say a word about that, almost as if it's been made up and fabricated by an agent out of his depth. Crazy, bro. So Ornstein made this video, if you guys remember, before when the season ended, when they're talking about Liverpool and Isak, and Ornstein was very clear saying he couldn't look. There's he talked about it and he mentioned nothing about any agreement, because it's about this agreement, alleged agreement that Newcastle either made 2 weeks. I think Philip is occasionally straining a cable. Oh, okay. Is that what it is? Yeah, let me know, guys, if it's working, if there's any crackling or anything crazy going on. Okay. This whole thing about Newcastle either agreed, or was my audio knackered? What, the part around we all know what's happening with Isak when it gets sorted to okay, so I was just saying that this video that Ornstein did. Okay, excellent. Thank you for that, Choppy. Thank you so much for that. Ornstein made this video just at the end of the season, talking about Isak, talking about Liverpool. Nothing was mentioned about this alleged agreement that Isak either had 2 weeks before the season ended, or in January, or when he signed his contract. I don't know when he made this apparent agreement that he told Newcastle, and I think Melissa Reddy was saying this, he told Newcastle this is his last season. Ornstein doesn't mention this at all. And he's got all sorts of contacts with Isak, his agent, and everybody else at the end of the season. Nothing about any he missed about 5-10 minutes. Nothing about anything to do with. Jeez, you guys, have I mentioned the last 5-10 minutes? Okay. So did you guys hear me talking about the agent? As I talked about, obviously, the agent, and I think it's Lemic, who's got full of controversies. Nothing proven, but full of controversies around been banned by certain clubs like Ajax from coming to there, and certain dealings of or whatnot unproven, but they're still there. Also, talking about Isak issuing a statement saying that he's not playing. Most of the agent stuff was knackered. So yeah, his agent essentially has lots of controversies around him, around Isak. Ajax aren't too happy with him. Other former clubs. Jeez, which part is it? The agent stuff part, yeah. I'll go back to the agent stuff. Is that for everybody? Is the agent? Are you guys talking about the agent stuff? Because I can reread it what I've said if that works for you guys. I don't mind doing it, but just let me know if it is for you guys. Like if it's the agent stuff, because some people are responding to what I was saying. But let me see. Oh no, you guys are all saying it. Okay, let me go back. Sheesh, I was given an emotional speech there. I'll start again. All right, cool. So, but does the sound okay now? Let me know if the sound sounds okay now, and I'll go back and I'll read the agent stuff. Let me start with the agent. I don't mind starting again, to be honest, because it makes sense in terms of what we're saying. If anybody can let me know if the sound is working okay. We're all seeing comedy field. Take your time. Yeah, sounds good. Thanks, guys. All right, so let me start again with the agent stuff, yeah? So we've got Mr. Lemic to the left there. And this is obviously, I put together information from Grok on what is said about Mr. Lemic. And I'll keep on flicking back and forth to make sure that you guys can still hear what I'm saying. So here are some key facts about Vlado Lemic, the agent representing Alexander Isak, based on the information available. So background, Vlado Lemic, born in 1966 in Zagreb, is a Serbian former football player turned prominent football agent. His playing career was modest, primarily as a midfielder for Borac Banja Luka in the Yugoslav Second League, with highlights of winning the 1987-88 Yugoslav Cup. He later briefly played in Belgium for KFC Herentals and Lers SK under coach Eric Gerets. His agent career. After retiring from playing, Lemic became an influential football agent known for orchestrating high-profile transfers across European football. He is associated with the agency Universal 22, which represents numerous players, including Alexander Isak, with a total client market value of 313.65 million euros. So lots of, quite, it looks like he's massive. He's managing a massive stable of players. Notable transfers. Lemic was instrumental in Alexander Isak's record-breaking transfer from AIK to Borussia Dortmund in 2017, which set a new Allsvenskan transfer record, which is AIK, at approximately 85 to 90 million SEK, Swedish kronen, I think it is. He reportedly earned 20 to 25% of that transfer fee. Other significant deals include Mateja Kezman's move to PSV Eindhoven, Royston Drenthe and Klaas Jan Huntelaar to Real Madrid, and Luka Modric's transfer from Tottenham to Real Madrid. So some quite high-profile transfers there. Connections. Lemic has strong ties with influential figures in football, including former Chelsea owner Roman Abramovich, former PSV scout Pete de Vissa, and Real Madrid former football director Predrag Mijatovic. His network extends to South America through his brother Zoran Lemic, facilitating transfers like those of Aurelio Gomez and Jefferson Farfar to PSV. Controversies. Let's see what the controversies are. A lot of them are unproven or alleged. I think all of them are, but they're there. Lemic has faced scrutiny for alleged financial irregularities. He was banned from PSV Eindhoven's training ground in 2008 after conflicts of general manager Jan Reker with unproven allegations of profiting improperly from transfers. This is in 2008. Ajax and AIK have also reportedly banned him from their facilities due to disputes and concerns over his methods. So that's 3 teams that have banned him from, reportedly banned him from their training grounds. That's Ajax, AIK, and PSV Eindhoven. And it's in quote. Now, the following is in quote. The Cyprus leak revealed that Lemic allegedly received 100 million euros in secret payments from Roman Abramovich. And remember, Chelsea have also declared stuff around this as well. But I don't know if it's directly about this. Through in secret payments from Roman Abramovich through offshore companies potentially linked to transfers, players like Ian Robben, Nemanja Matic, and Branislav Ivanovic to Chelsea, raising concerns about third-party transactions. He was investigated by FIFA for irregularities in Milan Badic transfers to Hamburg in 2012, though no wrongdoings was proven. Lack of FIFA license. Lemic operates as an advisor rather than a licensed FIFA agent, often working through associates like Dejan Mitrovic, who was formerly listed in the Isak to Dortmund deal to comply with irregularities. Universal 22 split in 2024. Lemic parted ways with the Swedish branch of Universal 22, including advisor Mazera Jadama, amid reports of conflicts involving gang-related issues. He confirmed that Alexander Isak remains his client, working directly with him rather than the Swedish division. Interesting. Reputation. Lemic is known for his assertive and discreet approach, avoiding media interviews and maintaining a low profile. Some describe him as a deal maker with vast network, while others, including Dutch media, have labeled his methods as aggressive or, quote unquote, mafia-like. Again, I think this is a Swedish or a Dutch newspaper. I don't know what the writing is. Current role of Isak. Lemic is actively involved in managing Isak's career, with recent reports indicating he has communicated Isak's desire to leave Newcastle United, potentially for a record-breaking £150 million to Liverpool, showcasing his proactive approach in high-stakes negotiations. Is certainly proactive. So let me know if you guys heard of all of that. I think you guys have, because you guys are kind of commenting on it as well. So I wanted to add that in context of everything that we're kind of receiving and going through with Liverpool and the media. I wanted to know also that this is what we're going through. And I don't know if what you guys' thoughts are on that so far. Let me know also, did you guys hear what I said about Tevez and Man City? Do let me know in the chat if you guys have heard me talk about Tevez and Man City and what the response from Newcastle needs to be. Newcastle obviously have responded so far in regards to Alexander Isak saying he's never playing for Newcastle again. Even if the transfer window closes, he will still not play for Newcastle United. And Newcastle United responded through their channel, and also Mike McGrath says, letting him know that he's part of the 25-26 squad, and his squad number is number 14, reminding Mr. Isak and his agent that Newcastle, reminding Isak that he is Newcastle's player. Choppy, was it crackling when I was talking about the Tevez situation? Or anybody, let me know. Did you guys hear me talk about the Tevez situation and Man City? So obviously Newcastle so far responded in a professional, diplomatic manner, with a strong manner, reminding Mr. Isak and his agent that he's a Newcastle player. Newcastle United hold the card because we have a 3-year contract. We hold his player registry. He can say this is the last time he's playing for Newcastle. And he can say all of that, but Newcastle hold his registry. Excellent. So you guys didn't hear the registry about Tevez. So let me just say. So let me add. Let me add this. This is what City did. So this is from John E. Let me get on it. This is from John E, who posted up what City did with Carlos Tevez, and this is to add why it's important for Newcastle United to continue and be consistent in their response to Mr. Alexander Isak. So John E, who again, a gentleman I follow on X, he says this, and then he gives the story about City. So John E says, like the City owners before us, our owners won't stress about a few million. It's not even about money anymore. This is about making a point that no player or club will bully us going forward. I absolutely co-sign this. They set the tone for the club's future. And I want to make sure my mic isn't cracking. I want to make sure everybody gets this. So then he gives the example of Mr. Okay, it's gone again. It's cracking again. Great. I'll quote you guys. And let me just make sure that. So I'm about to read the Tevez story. Let me just unplug the mic and put it back here. All right, folks, let me know if you can hear me now. I'm going to read the Carlos Tevez stories. Choppy says that's better. One more person to let me know that's good, because Johnny sets the scene. We can't be bullied. It's not even about money anymore. Newcastle need to set a precedent, right? I think it's when you lean forward. Jeez, all right. Anything can set this thing. Now it's good. So good. Now you can hear me. So this is now the Carlos Tevez story. John E says, and I'm going to repeat what John E said, and I'm going to come back to the Carlos. It gives an example of the Carlos test. So John E says, like the City owners before us, our owners won't stress about a few million. It's not about money anymore. This is about making a point that no player or club will bully us going forward. They set the tone for the club's future. And he gives the example of Carlos Tevez. In September 2011, Carlos Tevez was accused of refusing to come on as a substitute for Manchester City in a Champions League match against Bayern Munich. This is during a game, prompting a 2-week suspension, maximum fines, and his removal from the squad. The dispute escalated when Tevez returned to Argentina without permission, remaining there for over 3 months while rejecting the return unless granted a transfer. Does this sound familiar? Manchester City refused to terminate his contract, retaining his registration to block him from joining another club for free while seeking a buy. Newcastle United are holding this line at the moment. In February 2012, Tevez issued a public apology 5 months later. Tevez issued a public apology, resumed training, and played a key role in City's run-in to secure their first league title in 44 years. You're joking me, the mic has gone again. They don't want me to tell you the story about Tevez. I can't believe it. They don't want me to tell you the story of Tevez. Somebody doesn't want me to tell you the stories of Tevez. So let me know if you guys can hear me now. Tevez refused to play for Man City during a Champions League game in September. Okay. Can you guys hear me now? I have to tell the story no matter what. Tevez refused to play for City in 2011. Yeah, the graphics are on. I can take it off actually, if that makes it better. Tevez refused to play for City in September 2011. He refused to come on as a substitute in 2011. He then ran off to Argentina for the next 3 months, saying that he will not play for City until City sell him. City refused this, gave him maximum fines, and waited for his return. He returned in February 2012. 5 months later, he gave a public apology and played in the remaining months in City's first title win in 44 years. And the point is, take the chat off. And the point is, Newcastle United have the power, have the player registry. They cannot allow themselves to be bullied by Isak, by his agent, or by Liverpool or any buying club in relation to Alexander Isak. And so it's beyond money. Newcastle have to set a precedent when it comes to Alexander Isak and everything that's around him at the moment. So I gave City as the example. Tevez didn't play for 5 months. He refused to come on as a substitute. It was absolutely insane. But City maintained their line. Maintained their line, and he came back. Literally not true. His wife was ill. Well, then why did he give a public apology? Why did he give a public apology? I don't understand. So Newcastle United have to do the same thing, which is keep to that same line. I think it's beyond money, and it's beyond that situation. Newcastle have set their terms and conditions, which is that we need two quality forwards, which is not looking likely, and you need to pay £150 million for him. And unless those conditions are met, Mr. Isak will remain a Newcastle United player. So that's where we are at with that. So yeah. Jeez. My apologies, guys, for the mic. But you guys stuck it out with me. And God bless you for doing that. Let's see what you guys are saying in the chat. I just think this is a watershed moment for Newcastle United. This is a watershed moment for Newcastle United. A lot of comments. Thanks, guys. The mic kept on going. My apologies, guys. You've been absolutely phenomenal. You've been absolutely phenomenal, and it is late. So let's see what you guys are saying in regard to this. You even saying don't lean forward. It's when I lean forward. Yeah. Thanks, David Barter. You guys have been absolutely phenomenal. Hit them likes, folks. Hit them likes. That says Clueless from Gavin. But David Barton says, hit them likes, folks. I don't know what how many likes we've got so far, but the last time we saw the conversion rate was Haaland conversion rate. Let's keep that up as well. So before we conclude the show, got a few folks in the chat. Like I said, Newcastle United have to treat Isak the same way City treated Tevez, which is not bow down to agent, player, or buying club pressure. If we don't want to sell, we don't want to sell. Or if we do sell, it's under our terms, our conditions. If they're not met, you continue playing for Newcastle United. Gary Mahan says we should all forget about this Isak rubbish. It works itself out. What will be, will be. I think Newcastle are taking a more active approach, and that is it will be what the club says it will be. And I agree with that. They have to maintain on this line. It's going to be painful, but they have to maintain this line. Malick says, we win in the Champions League this season. Don't say I didn't tell you. Exactly. Tevez turned it around for them. That's the idea. Absolutely. Adrian Pickett says, so the moral of the story tell is we're going to win the league. Yes. That's the moral. Gavin says, do your research on Tevez because you're wrong. Okay, let me know which part is wrong, Gavin. If his wife is ill, why did Tevez issue a public apology? You know, I wouldn't issue a public apology if that was the case. And finally, Wobojog says it would be very difficult to recover from this if you come out of it looking like Isak and if a Liverpool walk all over you. Yes, that's the moral of the story. It's a PR and public perception nightmare. Absolutely. 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 It almost doesn't even matter if Liverpool provide 130 million and we get 2 forwards. It doesn't look good. It has to be 150 million. It has to be 150 million or a package worth 150 million. It has to be 2 quality forwards, which at the moment is not looking likely. Gary Mahan says very valiantly, we're Newcastle. We've been in worse situations than this. We'll rise. We've been in worse situations where we've been relegated, but I think that's a different end of. That's the lower. That's like the we're in the pits. This is now Newcastle trying to reach for the skies, and there's a glass ceiling that's above that, and Newcastle trying to shatter that glass ceiling is a different type of situation than obviously us being relegated, and it's important that we come out on top, in my view. Gog Singh, God bless you, says, I heard from another NUFC channel talk briefly about a dodgy history of Isak's agent. Yes, it's not great. There's not anything proven at the moment from what I can see, but there's a lot of allegations and there's at least 3 clubs that don't want him around. Cynical Jim says he will have to sack his agent if the deal doesn't go through and say it was all he's doing. I don't know if it's even what, from what I can see, if the cases are true. Would Isak does he even have the cojones to sack his agent? I don't know. He's been with him for a long time. I'm not even sure. Gavin says you're comparing a sick wife to a bloke who just wants more money. No, I'm comparing Tevez refusing to be substituted onto a pitch during Champions League game, then running away to Argentina. He came back and he issued a public apology. I just want to know, Gavin, did he issue a public apology? If he didn't, then I'll apologize and move on the story. It looks like he issued a public apology. If he did issue a public apology, why did he issue a public apology? Because he was wrong. Why did he then return and play for Man City and help them win the Premier League? Because he was wrong. So, unless that didn't happen, do let me know. Wobojok says, also, this could tempt other agents and players in the squad to do the same. Exactly. If they find a lucrative deals for their clients, at this point, an example has to be made of Isak for the sake of the club. I agree. It has to hurt us. We've got a £150 million player, apparently, according to our valuations, be sitting on the bench, or not even on the bench. He might just, the transfer window shuts. He might just go back to Sweden. We might have some of that stuff going on. We have to do it. We have to do it. Gary Mahan says, it sounds like Isak's agent is a gangster. Maybe Isak is under threat. Anything is possible at this rate. BT says, yeah, Gary, it would make a good story to put it out there. Adrian Pick says 3 years out from his agent. Yeah, I would agree with that. Again, Gavin says because he was forced to. Again, look into it. Okay, you let me know the evidence that he was forced into it. Like, it'd be great to know. Like, he was in Argentina. Did Man City send agents to Argentina and bring him back? Or did he come back of his own volition? It sounds like he came back of his own volition. Not only did he come back, but he played for Man City and helped them win the Premier League. So, I don't know. I'm not buying into that. Okay, so guys, in conclusion, with all my crazy mic and my crazy camera, we did manage to explain. I hope I managed to explain why this Isak situation is even beyond money now, and it's really about Newcastle's future in setting a precedent that no agent, no club, no media pressure, no transfer journalist, no rival club can force Newcastle into selling players they don't want to sell, or even selling players by bullying tactics, selling players. Selling players while to the terms of other clubs rather than our own clubs. Newcastle United, the owners of the show, are first. The club above all the players. That's all that matters at this point. So absolutely, it's got to happen. Thank you for that, Gary. First time here, Philip. I'm subscribed, and we'll be back. God bless you, Gary. I really appreciate you for that. You've forgiven me for the mic and everything else, so thank you. So look, that's where we're at. In conclusion, guys, we did a really in-depth scouting report for Mr. Malik Thiaw, who's looking to be very, very promising for us. Same for Jacob Ramsey, who looks like that deal might be tied even before the game against Villa, hopefully. So a really exciting move there as well. We did a player scouting report for him, very in-depth as well. We then moved on to all the media hype around Isak and why essentially it's important for Newcastle United to keep him, not just out of principle, honestly out of principle, and to set a marker to rivals, to the media, and to everybody else that Newcastle will not be bullied by any external forces into buying or into selling, especially in this case, of the selling players that they do not want to sell. Everything will be done in Newcastle's best interest and under Newcastle's terms. But guys, you've been absolutely phenomenal. You've been liking, you've been sharing, you've been subscribing, you've been engaging, you've been telling me when my mic is up. Like, and I appreciate you so much for that. You don't understand how much I appreciate you for that. So make sure you have a good evening. And as always, folks, God bless.